they go in and meet the guys, their perception really changes and they come out thinking, hey, ex-offenders are great people. And so even if they don't stay at Social Pantry for that long, at least I've changed the mind of that one person. That was it. I gave Ruben some crisps and he put them down his trousers and I was like, cool. Okay.
They're not going to grab me off.
Like preach about is so the challenges they face coming out. Like fucking hell. At one point I had like my house keys and my bank card and I was like, fuck actually.
And how did he swindle that?
Sarah went into Bad Boys Bakery. She comes up, she's like, Alex, there's a guy in there who's innocent.
Okay, we're back again. Xconversations. To my left we have the man.
Mr. Mikey Blacks.
Mr. Mikey Blacks. How you doing, bro? You alright?
Yeah, everything, Chris.
Good. And to his left we have the boy.
Mr. Gasconi.
Mr. Gasconi.
A.K.A. Mr. Come On.
Come on.
No,
different place.
No, definitely, man. And obviously,
Yep.
we have the lovely Miss Alex.
Yes.
Miss Alex.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having me.
No,
Thanks so much.
thank you for coming on, man, honestly.
We have Miss Alex Head, CEO and founder of Social Pantry. Brilliant mother.
Oh, bless you.
Traveller.
Yes.
I follow you, yeah. Foodie.
Yeah.
And I think a great entrepreneur.
Oh, thanks.
That's it.
You know.
What an intro.
No, honestly.
Let's give that a round of applause.
100%.
Let's give them a round of applause, please.
Thank you for coming and to join us on Xconversation.
Pleasure on this rainy Tuesday.
Yeah.
So easy. No, I'm really excited to be here.
I'm
Thanks
so
for
happy.
having
Like,
me.
honestly, I emailed her once, one email,
Yeah.
and response was quick response. I was actually like, wow. I was really taken back. And it shows that you're really genuine, a genuine person. Like,
happy to always chat. Yeah. So thanks for your time.
Appreciate that. So let's just get into it. So
Right.
Social Pantry.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Yes.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Social Pantry. So I, when I was at school, I was just quite naughty and I got expelled.
Okay.
And I thought, what am I going to do? What's going to kind of keep me busy? And ultimately, how am I going to earn some money?
Okay.
So I just started making and selling sandwiches.
Wow.
Okay.
And would kind of cycle around and sell them.
Wow.
So I made some pretty crap sandwiches and sold them.
Give us an example of a crap sandwich.
Yeah, what was the great sandwich?
They just weren't good. Now I make a really good sandwich. I'm telling you, now it's a mean fucking sandwich.
Okay,
But back then they weren't worth the money that people paid for. But yes, always loved food and always kind of enjoyed cooking and was really, brought up in a family of loads of kids. So we kind of all, really enjoyed eating and cooking. And and then I kind of quite enjoyed like the buzz of kitchens. The kind of, I suppose catering and kitchens and restaurants is really hard work.
Yeah, it is.
And I really enjoyed it. But when I was about 18, I worked in the first restaurant. And this really kind of shouty, terrifying head chef just said to me, like, you'll never last. And I thought,
Gordon Ramsay
fuck
type.
you.
Yeah.
I just thought, you fucking watch this.
Yeah, I love that.
So it made me so determined.
Yeah.
So I did loads of restaurants and like scary kitchens and shouty kitchens.
I hope he's watching now, yeah? Or I hope he's seen what you've accomplished.
That's it.
And he's like, I shouldn't let go.
Yeah, and now, at Social Pantry, we never have shouty kitchens. They're like really nurturing environments and they make you feel comfortable. Because I used to go to work and be so nervous and so anxious and be like, oh, fuck, and it'd be like 20-hour shifts, back to back. It was a real test, and I just thought it just doesn't have to be like this. So that's how I started, was just literally selling sandwiches.
Wow.
And then I built it up from there.
That's grassroots, like stuff that's from the ground up.
Yeah. And then I named the company Social Pantry and it kind of off it went. And I just said yes to everything. I just had to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Just couldn't be homeless. That was the main thing. It's a bit of waitressing and a bit of cooking, and eventually it kind of turned into Social Pantry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What was like the difficult moments starting out?
So difficult. I remember, it's so hard when you start out without kind of any money. Like, you're just having to be so tight the whole time. It's like it's so important. Like lots of people now start a business and get investment and do it the right way around. Whereas I just thought, oh fuck it, if I can just sell some food and make some money, it will be fine. But then you kind of learn the hard way. It's just really hard.
But those learning curves is what kind of like makes the business what it kind of is, because you, instead of like, for example, someone just going into business and then all of those come along, you've learned them along the way. So you've got that experience that.
And you've got to just be really creative and problem solve the whole time. I think businesses that start when they've got like a lot of money at the beginning, they just kind of chuck money at the problem. Like a marketing campaign, they'll just kind of use, you know, an expensive resource, whereas we were like, fuck, how are we going to do this? Like, you've really got to think on your feet. And it's really hard work. Like, you've just got to keep on working hard.
I've done like, I think I lasted 3 weeks as a kitchen porter.
Oh my god, it's so hard.
It's not easy, is it?
Bro, I was taking dishes, collecting the dishes, chopping up veg, like serving food. Like it was hectic, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it is really hard. Our kitchen porters are like the kings of the kitchen.
I can imagine.
They are insane. Like we give them a lot of airtime as well because they're just so great. And it's a really skilled job. Like people don't get it.
It is.
And if they don't do their job properly, then everything falls apart.
It backs up everything, innit?
They're like the building blocks, you know. If they get pulled away, then you're kind of.
Get a backlog of dishes just rising. I mean,
it is stressful, isn't it?
Literally.
And those scary chefs. Like, I'm trying.
Tell me about it.
So that's great. So when did you start? So how long were we talking?
So 2011.
Wow. 2011.
So 10th birthday coming up soon?
Exactly.
10th birthday should be here, no?
So 10 this year,
This year will be 10th birthday, wow.
Exactly.
So going strong.
And going strong,
That's amazing.
A bit of a few back steps of COVID, but now kind of coming back. And I think it's all just, for us, it's just about kind of making a cool place to work for people and just serving good food.
What kind of dishes do you do?
Oh my god, all sorts.
Oh.
So we kind of, all sorts of events. We do lots of office catering, but we do some really mega weddings, really small private parties, so kind of high net worth individuals in London that kind of have, you know, catered dinners. And then I've got 2 cafes as well.
Yes, I've seen you recently opened a new one.
And where are your cafes based, if
So one in Battersea and then one in Peckham.
Nice.
Where about in Battersea?
So just Lavender Hill.
Okay.
Next to Battersea Arts Centre.
Yeah.
And that I just used to kind of I just used to go in there the whole time and work when I like was just working from home, and the owner was always like, will you buy my cafe? And I was like, I don't want your cafe, Rashid. Like, fuck off, Rashid. I don't want your shitty, skanky cafe. And then I used to live nearby it, and like me and my friend had like a fair few bottles of wine at the pub. And on the way back, he's like, do you want to buy my cafe? I was like, go on then. And I just agreed. I just was like, fuck it. And then I like woke up and I was like, fuck. I was really hungover and I was like, I fucking agreed to that cafe. I was like, fuck. So I didn't really know what to do. So I was like, fuck. So I had to kind of. So we just newspapered up. We got the keys like 2 days later. Newspapered up the windows, and then I was like. Said to my brothers and my sisters, I was like, we need to fucking paint this cafe. So we just painted the cafe. We didn't have a till. I didn't have any health and safety shit. I just was like, oh, we'll just open. And then the council came in. They're like, have you got a license? I was like, yeah. Like fucking Googling a license. Like, what's a license? I don't know what fucking. You got insurance? I was like, yeah, I've got insurance. Fucking insurance. I didn't have a clue. So I just like, and then I just thought if the food's good enough, people will come to it. And then they did. And it was the tables. We only just replaced the tables, like. And it's a really cool little foodie hub. Like we do loads of like team dinners and kind of get them wasted and dancing on tables and those little private parties happen there.
We might have to, you know what? We might have to come by.
Definitely.
We're gonna book.
We're
gonna book. Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
It's a really cool little space in the evenings and stuff. But the Battersea Cafe I love. Like it's kind of gone. Sometimes it's been really successful and it goes in waves. Like
up and down.
But I do love it. That was it. And I remember like my second week, someone was like, I wanted a flat white. And I was like, I don't know. Flat white. I just made another coffee and was like, there you go. And she walked over and like, this is not a flat white. It's a coffee.
Coffee.
You know what I mean?
It's mad, isn't it?
But now we've got good.
We've got rich stab you now.
This was like 8 years ago. And I remember like when we did one event once, they phoned and they were like, oh, we just want to speak to the owner. And I was like, yeah, speak. And they were like, you know, the waitress had very messy hair. I was like, she's been sacked. I was like, yeah, she's been sacked. Like, fuck, I need to like look better. Like, oh god. It's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's bad still.
Where did you grow up, by the way?
Where did I go? So south of England till I was till my mid-teens, and then I grew up in Saudi, so Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for a few years. So lived out in the Middle East.
Okay.
So
did you pick up like Middle East cuisine?
No, not really. Okay. I mean a bit, but I'm not very good at spice.
Okay. Did you pick up any Arabic?
Oh, shreya.
Shreya.
No.
That was good though. Yeah.
I feel when I can.
Shreya. Yeah. That means that sort of.
A little bit. Like that's like I see. Like come ça.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So nice.
So can I ask? So how did you kind of transition into like, you know, working into prisons or working with ex-offenders or working?
For sure. Yeah, so about 5 or 6 years ago, I'd mentored for a charity.
Okay.
And Ruben, who's brother from another mother, love him. Like still, I've mentored him. He was my first prison visit. In ISIS prison.
Okay.
And I went in and I was so nervous. Mainly because I think I've deserved to sit in prison a few times. So I was like, fuck, is this a joke? Are they going to leave me in here? I won't visit a women's prison because I get nervous that they're just going to bang me in there. I'm sorry to visit, boys, because I'm like, they'll have to let me out.
Yeah, they'll have to let you out.
It was so bad. So, I went in to see Ruben with the charity. So I think if you team up with a charity, it was really easy for me.
Yeah.
Now, prisons will come directly to me and I'll work with them.
That's
justice.
great.
That's great.
But for any other business or person wanting to do it, I'm like, team up with a charity, because that really helped me. I was really anxious.
Give you like a safety blanket kind of thing.
And when Ruben was, being tricky, or I'd agreed to meet him, or he wasn't there, like, he's such a nice guy, but I could phone the charity and be like, oh, is he okay? Have you heard from him? Like, it was just they were really good mentoring. So I went into ISIS, like, so nervous.
What was that feeling?
Yeah, I was shitting it. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. And we had a tour to understand like what the guys go through coming in there. The ISIS is a YOI, I think. Yeah, but right next to Belmarsh.
Yeah.
We've been there. I've spent time there.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, in ISIS, yeah.
Nice, yeah.
We were on
H-Burn.
You've got Meridian and
Thames, yeah. It was a Meridian, isn't it?
And it's
Thames is H-Burn and all that.
Yeah, that's how it was on Thames, It was on Thames,
And it's all like fingerprinting.
Yeah, fingerprint. When we first got there, it was like, whoa, like fingerprint, this is groovy. Like,
we were like one of the first
new batch,
when it opened.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's next to Belmarsh.
Yeah, you can hear the dogs going.
Yeah. You can actually see Belmarsh
from the window,
Yeah. I thought it was alright. The governor then did a talk and I thought he was a bit of a prick. Like he kind of... Yeah, he wasn't inspirational. I thought, you've got to be inspirational, buddy. Like, come on, if you're not inspirational.
Was he more like authoritarian kind of?
Yeah, and the prisoners were sitting in bibs, and he was just really derogatory, being like, nice bibs. I just thought that was. Yeah.
Okay, so like going into ISIS.
Yeah.
What was your initial impression of that prison?
Do you know the first thing that I remember that I don't know why I was really shocked, and this sounds so stupid, but I was really shocked that there was a kids area in the visiting hall.
Okay.
I found that really I just hadn't thought that these young guys, of course they're dads, of course they are, like I just hadn't thought that. But I thought it was really clean, I thought it was quite efficient, I thought it was really good. Like I kind of but I only see, I suppose, maybe the visiting bits or like the community areas. We did do a tour to see the route that the guys come in, so that induction wing, and that was quite full on.
Was it like through the reception area, or like when they come into the prison? And then
through
the reception bit.
And then you come through the walkway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's the main hub in it, and you go in.
Yeah. And then those kind of chairs. Yeah, it was all. Oh, that was it. I gave Ruben some crisps and he put them down his trousers, and I was like, cool. Okay. I was like, there's only hula hoops in there. I was like,
they're not gonna grab me off.
I was like, okay, but I just was like, maybe that's how you do things in here.
You know what? Sometimes on the visit, you can what your visitors can buy for you can't get in there.
Exactly.
So
like exclusives.
Yeah. They obviously made a load of it.
So there was many a time when there's like the white chocolate Snickers. I know that's gone down many trousers.
Dreamy.
You know what I mean? So if I reckon hula hoops weren't on the canteen at the time.
And I did think, I was like, what am I going to talk to him about? And then we just instantly chatted. We were both trying to give up smoking. Like we both that's kind of what we had in common. Like, and then I did go back in to see him as a legal visit.
Okay.
Because his brother had sadly been stabbed, so I went back in then to see him as a legal visit, and that was slightly more intimidating. Going in through that legal process.
Yeah.
But ISIS was good. So I first started mentoring Ruben, and then this charity were like, "Will you employ one of the guys?" And I was like, "Sure." So I only employed 4 people at the time, and so he came on board, Suhail, and he was really good. He had been in ISIS as well for drugs, I think. Yeah. And he was great. Although he'd started off doing 3 days a week and he wasn't very good. So I just phoned him and I was like, "You're fucking this up. Like you're costing me money.
Yeah.
Like I've only got a small business. You need to work really hard.
Yeah.
Do 5 days a week or fuck off."
Yeah.
And he did 5 days a
Wow,
week.
good.
And he found that better.
Yeah.
He kind of was like, actually, do you know, I can commit to 5 days a week. I feel like when he was only doing 3, he was then a bit
he's got time to do other stuff and distractions.
Exactly. Whereas with 5 days a week, he was in, and he was great. And then he lasted like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the end, he had like keys to everything, ran a little team.
Wow.
People always are like, "Oh, do you trust, the extras?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Of course."
Yeah.
Like, what can go? Like, what can they fuck up really? And also, they're not gonna break that trust, because if they do, they know it's a really long road back out. They're just going to lose a job, and actually it's taken years for someone to get a job, so I totally trust them.
No, that's amazing. So in 5 years he was basically like your right hand man kind of thing.
At one point he had like my house keys and my bank card, and I was like, "Fuck, actually."
And how did he swindle that?
Yeah, I was literally like, "Where is it?" Like, like, wait. Like,
hold on.
I was a bit like, "Why have you got so much shit of mine?" But no, it was only like coincidence. But he was cool.
That's good, man.
And then so then I employed, and then he kind of led the way, but employed all sorts. Some really successful, and some like not at all.
Obviously, they get a mixed bunch.
Yeah.
What was your initial? So when you initially brought them into the company, was it kind of thing that where you was the only one that knew their history, or did you like break it down to the rest of your staff?
Yeah. So when it was quite small, I asked all of them, because there was only like 5 of us, and I was like, "Would you feel comfortable?" And they were all like, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, good.
But I never would disclose their crimes.
Yeah.
Like that's over to them.
Yeah.
Like that's not my business. I know what it is for like insurance reasons and just for that backstory. So I know what it is, but I would never disclose that, like down to them. And some people, it's not obvious when they're an ex-offender. Some it is. Some of them don't mind telling people. So we're really sensitive to that because this is about giving them another chance.
Yes.
Like this isn't about their previous life.
Yeah.
But there is that fascination, like, "Oh, what were you in for?" But I never really ask people because I just think they're at like that's not really like if the legal system says they're fit for society, then cool.
Oh no, I
we take
appreciate that.
and like we kind of carry on. But some guys, the younger guys were easier. Some of the older guys, like that was harder.
Tricky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask? So, do you have a process? Do you have like a process of how you manage the risk regarding the services that you work with? So, let's say for example, what conviction would you be like, "No, I can't. I can't do that."
Totally. Yeah. We had a guy the other day actually did a trial shift, and he came directly. He wasn't with a prison or wasn't with a charity, and he then at the end of the trial shift, our HR manager said, "Right, well, can you tell me what you're in for? Because we kind of need to know. Like, I can't employ anyone that's done arson, for insurance, but he was in for a sex offence. So I then spoke to his probation and his." And it was something that we just weren't willing to employ him for. It was a child sex offence. And I just was like, "Do you know what? We're a catering company coming out of a pandemic, giving the odd job opportunity. We're not here to support." I wasn't. That's something that wouldn't be all right within our company.
Which is fair enough.
So that I was like, no. And then arson is no. And Kate, I think fire. I don't quite know that, but
Don't burn down my business, please.
Exactly. But everything else we're pretty chilled on. Like drugs, GBHs, for all of that. There's mainly the younger guys were in for drugs.
That's actually amazing.
And what positions do you offer them? So what?
Yeah, so we've had all sorts. None of them have been able to drive, I don't think. So not drivers, but porters, kitchen porters, barista. Okay. Like Ray was a great guy, did time in Wandsworth. And he was a barista at the cafe. Like, oh God, I don't know what Battersea thought of him. But like, he was just so funny, when you're like, he was just amazing, but a really good barista. And then we had Asim in Ealing. He was there for a couple of years as a barista. So those front of house roles.
Yeah, okay.
Ray was just, really, really chatty and kind of, so inappropriate at points. I'd be like, Ray, like, oh, that girl.
When they're trying to chat up the
yeah. I was like, you can't call everyone darling. Like, you know, or like, but he did it with such a charm. And to be honest, I totally don't care. But like, they just need to feel comfortable. But yeah, so front of house for sure. It's not like it's just in as a porter and that's it. And then and then sometimes waitering. Well, that was it. Sue Hale did. Sue Hale was like front of house for this massive event that we did with a really famous pop star. Wow. And there he was like serving this tray of food to Rihanna. Like all of us like mega jealous. And I was just like,
what?
Sign me up.
Can I have a job?
Can I get a job?
Can I get a job, please?
Literally,
Can I get your number with these fries?
She would have, you know. It was like wild. But yeah, that I was like, that made me feel like inside. I was like, this is good.
That
like,
is amazing. Wait, hold on. Let's take that in.
Yeah.
Let's take that in. Big up Sahel, by the way.
Hey.
Shout out Sahel, yeah?
Come on.
So he came from prison.
Yeah.
Started with you.
Yeah.
And he had an opportunity to serve Rihanna.
Yeah, so at this event crazy. We were like, we had loads of stuff, and he's one of them. Yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
Mad. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and no reason to not give him that opportunity. But yeah, we do have some mega clients. But also that's where the ex-offenders, they can't fuck it up either. Yeah. Like, I've worked really hard and the team worked really hard.
And they know obviously, and they see that hard work.
Yeah. And they're part of the team, so they've got to be on it. Like, if they don't show up, then they really affect the other team, and that's when you need them to be like a real team player, because it's hard work, right? It's not an easy job, catering or kitchens or like, you know, kitchen portering, like it is a tough gig, so you've got to...
Everyone needs to play their part.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you give them opportunities to like upskill? To learn.
Had Kyle actually, he came from Bad Boys Bakery. He's off at the moment with anxiety, but he came to us and was like, I want to train, I want to learn more, and we were like, fucking amazing. And actually to reward him for being so on it, we were like, let's really make something of this, let's really put a program in and make it amazing for him.
Wow, that's really cool.
Talking of Bad Boys Bakery, so that's based in Brixton, if I'm HMP.
Yeah, exactly. So Bad Boys Bakery, So all my team go in and visit prison, and they love it. So like all of my team love working with ex-offenders. So that's why when I speak to other businesses, I'm like, fucking well, do it. If I can, you can. But Sarah, gorgeous blonde tiny Sarah, went into Bad Boys Bakery. She comes up, she's like, Alex, there's a guy in there who's innocent. I was like, no, baby.
Everybody innocent there.
Everybody innocent in prison.
We really need to help him. And I was like,
that's actually funny, man.
That is cute, though. That's cute.
And if you met her, like, she could come and chat to you about her experience next time. You'd love it. Like, she'd love it, you'd love it. But yeah, she's really funny. I was literally like, I was like classic this whole time making flat jokes with this guy, just chewed her in. And I thought I really loved this day.
Yeah.
How often do they go into?
So we try and so some people join Social Pantry because of the ex-offender stuff. So I try and get them in within their first few months into prison. Yeah. They'll often just do 1 or 2 visits, but I try and just so they can be exposed to it. Because if one of these, and in the line of work I do, some of them are kind of relatively well-to-do girls that haven't met anyone from prison, and actually if they go in and meet the guys, their perception really changes and they come out thinking, hey, ex-offenders are great people, and so even if they don't stay at Social Pantry for that long, at least I've changed the mind of that one person.
Because I was literally going to touch on that. So like before you started working with ex-offenders or prison leavers, what was your perception of like offenders at that time, and how has that stayed the same, or how's that changed since?
Yeah, I think when I was at uni, I did volunteer and I worked with an ex-offender there. So I kind of had some, and I like worked with the homeless a bit. So I've had kind of some involvement. So I don't think I had mad expectations, but one thing that I will always kind of like preach about is the challenges they face coming out. Like fucking hell. I just can't even imagine like the housing challenges, the family, the baby mamas, like sometimes they're fucking mad. Oh my God, we had one time Mahari who was, I love Mahari, but he had been stabbed, which isn't the funny bit. And he was in hospital and I was like, fuck, I've got to go up and see Mahari. Anyway, and we're sitting there and in the waiting room with these 2 girls, and I was like, who are these 2 girls? And the nurse came out and it turned out that he was dating both of them. They then had a fight, and I was like, Mahari, on your deathbed, these fucking baby mamas are fighting over you. I was like, fucking hell, Mahari. Like, Anyway, he then literally, he then turned up to the Christmas party, like, still having his like fluids and bags. And one of the girls was like, "Good, glad you've made your mind up." But they so what they're battling when they come out, and like him, like he had been stabbed by a guy he'd helped, like friends like a guy he'd helped, like. So they're always battling so much. Yeah. So we can definitely offer a job just by, like, we can offer, a paid work. Yeah. But the housing, I think, like, I didn't realise how much they struggle against, basically, in answer to your question. Like, it's mad. I would struggle with that. And I've got, resource and can go on the internet. And, I'm sure if I phoned a housing office, I can, I would be able to, talk to them. Like, we do quite a lot of that for the guys.
That's great. So you even help them with things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely over the time, because it's so frustrating, like the housing stuff.
People that come out of prison, they do stuff with like mental health, obviously PTSD, depression, and other sorts of mental health as well. Have you come across people with that's got severe mental health, and have been, I don't know whether they've been referred to you? How have you dealt with that? Like, maybe let's tell them that maybe they're not ready to come into employment. Or how do you deal with that?
It's really difficult. I kind of struggled with anxiety quite a lot, so I'm quite like aware of mental health. As in, like, I feel like I've got quite a good grasp on it all, and I feel like some employers don't yet, especially in the hospitality industry. And there's quite a lot of like stuff going on about kitchen burnout and how it's really challenging in those shouty kitchens. So I'm quite like on it, but we've got one of our ex-offenders at the moment is off with severe anxiety, so we just support, we just check in with him. But we're really aware of mental health. We used to do like these kind of wellness sessions once a month, and we used to make everybody come, which was really good. So like, and it was with a lady called Vida, who was amazing, who I met through Key for Life. Wow. And we'd have these big...
They got Key for Life, by the way. They do some great work.
It's incredible, Should and
Vida
would, these like company wellness sessions, you'd have like, it was just really good to mix, but it made you kind of think a bit clearer. So that was quite good. But we've had some people really suffering, like some of the older guys who've spent longer behind bars, like have had some kind of anger issues, and that we can't really help with, like we're not qualified to. And have got to just create a safe kitchen for our team. Yeah, of course. So when there's been dramas, we kind
plastic knives and that. I'm joking. Plastic knives. No sharp points.
I'm joking. The tips.
I remember that when we were like leaving one of the prisons. Like, I can't remember where it was, and they were like, "We're not all leaving until the knife's put back." And I was like, "I haven't got it." And a few motherfuckers got the knife. I was like, "I need to like, I need to go." Like,
I got time for this.
It's not fun if one of you steal a knife.
I know, because they're all numbered.
Exactly.
They're all numbered, and there's a fob in it when you're in the prison kitchen. So you've got to like keep your fob, return that with the
quite rightly. Because then I was like, I was like, God, come on,
man, just find it. You know what we do? Everyone just shut your eyes, and just drop it.
Just throw it. Oh, how did it get there? Give it to me. I can say I had it. Yeah, but that's what. So but we've had kind of a couple of older guys where they've just caused drama, and that's when we're just no nonsense. We had Ray, who kind of who was
gets like that sometimes.
Exactly, and we kind of you just make sure that they're kind of seeing the right person. That was through a charity, so you go back to the charity and you say he needs some more help, but we can't have him at the moment. Because also you don't want to set a bad example. You don't want people to see that ex-offender not in their best light, and actually don't know what they're battling. So you kind of, and we can say, we can kind of, see that it's not that dramatic. But to some new people that have just started, would be like, whoa, this is a bit full on. So if they're kind of, there's certain issues we can help and support with, and then there's some that we're like, that's just not our job. Like, we've only got so much budget and time to really support.
What about regarding your referrals? Where do you get your referrals? Do you get referrals from only certain charities, or can anybody self-refer?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, we get some self-referrals now, and then through the charities, so Switchback, Key for Life, Novus.
Big up Switchback.
I've known Switchback.
Yeah, of course I know Switchback. Literally just linked up with them. So watch this space for Switchback.
The South London one, in the got the thingy.
That's Bounce Back.
That's Bounce Back, isn't it?
Bounce Back, they're good though.
Bounce Back is Brixton.
Exactly. And then Novus. Did you guys know Novus?
Novus.
Or the Clink.
The Clink.
The Clink.
They're good, isn't it?
They're good.
Yeah, they're
really
good.
They do the hostels as well, don't they? Clink hostels.
Yeah, they do.
There's one in King's Cross.
There's one in King's Cross. Yes.
Not
far from.
Not far from On the Connect.
Yeah.
So your process, so anyone can refer themselves.
Yeah, anyone that can refer, and then it's just down to them. Like, just theirs to work hard. It's theirs to run with. Like, you know, and most of them are brilliant. Some of them realise that hospitality isn't for them. Like it's a tough gig. It's quite hard. It's quite antisocial hours sometimes. But most often than not, when they're part of the team, they love it and they really enjoy it. And for some of these guys, that's the most family. It sounds a bit corny, but that's the most family thing they've ever had. Is like that's the most structure.
Yeah.
And so we'll always be there for a bit of advice.
That's one thing that
support.
benefits prison leavers or ex-offenders, having that structure.
Yeah.
That support system to feel like you're cared about, you're wanted.
Yeah, I could tell, but even by the way you just you describe your whole business and just like your whole setup, the culture of it just seems so family oriented. You feel that's still together.
You can feel that even from the social media posts.
Yes.
You can feel that it's not forced. It's like genuine, organic, authentic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so with like your ex-offenders, what do you feel like they bring to Social Pantry?
First of all, the team love working with them, so like that's a really big thing. Like the team love it. That means some people join Social Pantry for that, but they are just motivated, hardworking. They're dedicated. They're switched on. They're clever. I remember like a friend of mine, like she was like, "Oh gosh, she's really charming," and I was like, "Annie is one of London's best drug dealers." I was like, "He's not stupid either," and she was just like, "Yeah, she's there with charity dinner." I was like, "Oh no, like, you know, don't be fooled." But they're just really cool. Like they're quite they're just on it. Like they're entrepreneurial at points, and also they can like they've battled so much. Like some of them have just come from like care home to care home, prison to prison.
So all those attributes that you say bring to your, do you feel like that is added to your company, added value to it?
Definitely, yeah, for sure. And these guys are like switched on and clever and motivated, entrepreneurial, and also they're just really hardworking. But I just think that they're just incredible people as well.
Would you recommend it to other businesses to do the same?
Yes, 100%. Like I kind of often will speak at stuff and be like, you guys, I can do it with really small budgets and small team. I've only kind of recently got an HR support, so all these big companies, they've got loads of layers of HR support, and their internal teams would love it. They could mentor, and also, you know, they can get the best out of these guys as well. But we have to offer opportunities.
Of course.
That's medium to small medium businesses, bigger businesses. They have to, otherwise, the chances of reoffending are just so much higher. And we've just got to do our bit.
Exactly.
Like it's just so important.
Exactly, and that's I really want to commend you and praise you for the work that you do. And
honestly, man,
and your energy and attitude is amazing.
It's vibrant, man. It's refreshing, man.
No, it's good.
It's refreshing. Love it.
It's really important.
And kudos on being the first female guest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I did wonder that as you were saying. I was like, are any of these women?
You're number one.
And then will you guys come into Felton when we open it?
No, definitely, man.
Listen,
definitely.
Without a doubt, we'll be there.
Yeah, come in.
We're trying to set up a program to actually go into prison.
Yes,
so might even have to do a collaboration.
Fab, and when you need some connections, I can do that. But come in when we're inviting press and stuff into Felton Prison. Come on in.
Let us know.
Come and motivate the boys. And
great to come in for that. But just touching on you just to end quickly. So I see you travel a lot.
Yeah.
Motherhood.
Yeah.
What's next for Miss Head?
What's next? Business survival. We just need to get out of the pandemic. I think Social Pantry's in a good place, but just need to hold our shit together. Keep our nerve going into the winter. So business wise, kind of grow it and just I suppose enjoy this kind of winter and loads more events.
Of course.
Maybe meet Rihanna again.
if you do, hey, listen. I'll come as a waiter for free.
For free.
You have to pay me. You ain't gonna pay me.
I'm saying.
Don't pay me.
So all right. Well, thank you for joining us.
No, definitely.
Really appreciate it. This has been.
Thank you very much. Honestly, thank you.
Yeah. It's been a great conversation.
No, definitely.
So at some point we'd love to have you back one day.
Yes,
maybe.
Please.
Maybe even come into Social Pantry and do something on there.
Yeah, why don't you?
And I'm by your cafe, by the way.
Are you? Okay, amazing.
Pop in, man.
Do text me. Yeah.
Talk to him, Alex.
Yeah. Don't ask me to make it a fun.
And on that note, that's where we're going to end it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All of Alex's socials will be down here.
All of that.
Big announcement. We should now be on Spotify and Apple and all of the streamings where you can hear our sounds over there as well. So make sure you click the links and look into that.